to beat me down and bruise me. They hide just out of sight, can't face me in the light. They'll return, but I'll be stronger. I want to dream again, take me where I've never been. I wanna go there, this time I'm not scared. Now I'm unbreakable, it's unmistakable. No one can touch me, nothing can stop me.
We just got back from Team Manila Eagles' last match we have for the group stage, and they finish it with a 100% success rate. Amazing.
Right.
That's a record for the PGS. That's the first time a team has done that. But of course, we're moving on to the next match we have for today, and we'll be your shoutcasters for the first game of that match. I'm Atlas. With me is Rockhard.
That's right, and not just the 100% win rate, because you can kind of paint a different picture when you just say, hey, this team got 100% win rate. It's also the way that they did it.
Definitely.
Really clean, and those were some of the fastest games that we have seen in the PGS. That is professional play ending before 20 minutes.
Definitely. It's even faster than AEX's victory with the Rift Herald and all. It's at 18 minutes and 40 seconds. That's impressive, definitely. And coming up against a team was shown so much development over the split, that's an achievement. But of course, we're moving on to our next match we have for today. As we look at our schedule, we finished match 1 and 2. Both ended in 2 win streaks. Sweeps for the teams at once can be IPT and TNE. We'll be seeing which one of these teams, MSK versus TNC, League of Legends, will be taking away that 2-win streak, or will it be a 1-1? Of course, looking at our standings, this is definitely an important match for TNC.
That's right. Again, this is one of the matches which will decide. TNC, if they want that playoff spot, they cannot drop a match, and they need the free points today and the points that they'll need tomorrow as well if they want to go up above MSK and AEX.
It's going to be a tough call, because tomorrow they're gonna have to face AEX, and then today they're facing up against MSK. So having to beat the 2 teams that are above you in the standings to get even a chance at playoffs is definitely something very challenging, and that's really what motivates a lot of these pro players, is that challenge, you know. And that's why there's also a challenge for these artistic summoners out there. We are holding our PGS Digital Fan Art Contest. You will get a chance to, there's a 6K RP prize pool, so that's a huge prize pool for all these digital arts. For more details, just check out esports.garena.ph/PGS. You'll be seeing the details for that contest, as well as convenient references, photos of our pro players, and that more details will be on that side. Of course, we'll also, on the topic of pro players, we'll also be having our guest, the pro.
That's right. And this guest, the pro, these are the clues that you will need to do. Aside from the silhouette, which of course you will be very familiar with how they look like, you'll also have these facts. He's known for his Nidalee.
Wow.
And he has, this is just his second split in the PGS, and he has already one of the highest kill participations.
Okay, just go to that Google link, that's a Google Forms link, fill it out completely with the correct answer of who this pro is. This is definitely a pro that's very respectable for his Nidalee. It's even drawn respect bans against him and matches against his team. So definitely this is not a pro that you can just ignore.
Yeah. And no matter what skin he uses, that's what you're gonna win if you get this. And again, the answer is Spear from Jenksky Esports.
Definitely, he's been showing so much power on his junglers, especially the pressure that he pulls and puts on his lanes is definitely something that's super impressive. And seeing him play just in his second split and already highest kill participation, which I think is one of the most important stats in League of Legends pro scene, KP is something that's super important.
Yeah, it shows you how proactive a person is when he moves around the rift and the amount of pressure that he's able to provide. And that percentage, the higher the percentage of that kill participation, the more that you know that he is making an impact in team fights. And that's what League of Legends is, a very team-oriented game And if you have high KP, you pretty much have it locked down in the team game.
So whoever won that, you will be getting the Muay Thai Lee Sin skin, which I think is actually the skin that a lot of good Lee Sin players use.
That's right.
Compared to Godfist or Dragon Fist.
You know, the reasoning for that is because of the animation. It has
they
really
look
clean
smoother.
animation.
They look smoother,
Yeah,
so
and
you
they're-
can animation cancel a lot better with your auto attack.
Yeah, and the thing about this skin as well is not just because of the looks. It's because how it feels like when you use it. Me, personally, being a Lee Sin player, I like the smoothness of the kicks. And
Definitely.
yeah, you're gonna have a chance to win that if you answer very correctly.
Definitely. As we move on to the match we have, the final match we have for today, TNC versus MSK. As we said earlier, we're just waiting for the drafting phase. But discussing the matchup, as I said, is very difficult for TNC.
That's
They
right.
have to do two zeros in a row.
This is gonna be
6
an
points.
uphill battle for TNC. It's like basically having two bouncers left and right and saying you shall not pass. But TNC will need the Ring of Power and get to the top of the playoffs, and he needs to fight off against two Titans in order to do that.
Definitely, and with the Celestial coming into the roster of MSK, that's a huge burst in power from their previous games. It's definitely impressive how Celestial, on that AD carry role, has really led MSK to a lot of their wins recently.
That's
As
right.
for TNC, still going with that same roster. Of course, Endless Ace now going to the top lane. For now, look at the pick and bans. A lot of these respect bans against Hayes. Look, 3 mid lane bans against Hayes. Very generic, just run-of-the-mill, very important bans. While inside of TNC, across the board, support, AD carry, and jungler.
That's right. You're kind of wondering as well why they're opting for this, because we've seen Exosen on those Syndras, especially last week, where he's able to do solo kills left and right faster than the usual Syndra would, and he's kind of. You can see the focus of MSK is again in this mid lane. They want to see how far Hayes can push in this in the mid with the champion pool thinning out.
Definitely, in the second ban phase, that those champ pools are just going to get even thinner. Seems like top lane and mid lane will be the
Ooh.
focus of TNC. Same for MSK, Orianna and Cassiopeia banned out. As for the top lane, it's going to be Fiora and Kled, unavailable for this game.
And I like that both top mid laners are leaving their picks basically for last. They really want to center this fight on that mid lane. But of course, we will see a lot of action as well if they lock in that. Once they start locking in the picks, because I also like the
Oh.
bot. Ooh,
Look at that.
control
It's
in the form of Talia from EXO. This is gonna
Lots
be
of terrain manipulation here for MSK. I think it's not just the mid lane. I think it's
Right.
a lot of focus on the bot lane as well, because Twitch needs a lot of attention.
yeah. They want to be able to enable Twitch to get into
Celestial,
positions. Yes,
Definitely. And the
Uh,
thing is, the roams, the ganks coming from the Jarvan, the roams come from the Talia, the teleport plays from Kaigu, as well as the support, just general support of Kichi here definitely helps Celestial in that regard. Side of TNC, look at that. 2 ninjas on their team is going to be the Shen and the Zed, tankiness and assassination. Plus, they have good initiation coming from the really amazing Hecarim. Unexpected, actually.
Yeah.
Hecarim pickup here.
So on the side of TNC, they want that sustained team fight. The ability of them to initiate and sustain the battle. Meanwhile, on the MSK side, though, they want to make that terrain available to enable Celestial to make
Just
the play.
spray and
So
pray.
yeah, it's locked down for MSK, and it's basically snowballing, rolling off for on the side of TNC.
Looking at James and Burst here, KDA, it's a very close fight here in terms of the GPM and CS per minute. The KDA a little bit higher on the side of James, but this might just be a little discrepancy because of how their play styles are.
Right.
Might
again-
be that Burst is more aggressive. We have seen that Burst, wow, lives up to his name.
Yeah. He likes that. He likes to go bursty. Meanwhile, James likes those junglers that participate. That's most likely one of the reasons why his KDA is also a bit higher up than Burst.
I'm pretty sure his kill participation is also pretty relatively high compared to his teammates as well as the
That's
rest
right.
of PGS. But of course, Spear still has one of the highest. But here, James is definitely up there as well.
That's right. So picks are locked in now for MSK and TNC. This is game 1, and this should be a slobber knocker of a fight.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see the Sivir composition here. Karma, Sivir, and Hecarim. So much move speed.
Super mobile.
And while they're doing that high power sustained team fight, the Zed can just find an opening here that TG and Kaigu have ignored or neglected, and then they can take him out. Because Celestial, most of their damage here will come from Celestial.
That's right. Also on the side of TNC though, they're thinking of protecting the Severe as well. It's gonna be a bit difficult, but they will have to do that and have Hayes make that hole in the chink of armor of Mineski in order to make that. When I say armor, I'm talking about Twitch. They have to be able to find an opening to enable the assassination on the Twitch, and if they do that, they just might come up with a win.
They do have a lot of tools, however. If you look at this, Mineski really just being able to lock down the terrain. If Hayes goes in, well, there's Cataclysm and Weaver's Wall on the map.
That is no escape at all.
Yeah, that is no escape, and that just means Hayes might be isolated from the rest of his team. If you look at it, the only members of the TNC Pro team here that can actually go through the wall here is Burst if the target is near enough for his charge,
right,
and Endless Ace with a Shadow Dash, which is very inefficient use of the taunt.
Also Hayes, of course, he has the Shadow that we'll have to look forward to. He will have to utilize that, and this is TNC again, fighting the uphill battle and fighting to get into the playoffs.
Definitely,
and Mineski is one of the bouncers again that they will have to fight, and this is one heck of a fight to go forward.
It's going to be memorable because TNC has their backs to the wall, so we'll be seeing how all of that plays out as TNC fights for their life in the playoffs. Let's get on with it. For our last match we have for today, the first game, Mineski League of Legends versus TNC Pro Team. Will TNC bash through the gates of playoffs, or will Mineski defend that spot with their lives?
Yeah, we have seen Mineski go all out on their compositions, and TNC might be coming into this with a bit of a shake in their system, but we'll see. The marker of a great professional team is the ability to cope under pressure and to be able to give results once you're in that situation. And I think TNC has what it takes. They just need to execute it.
Definitely. As Tarek says, from coals to diamonds, pressure is what turns coals into diamonds. We'll be seeing if TNC can realize their potential, because this is, as I said, a very tough game. It's going to be a very tough 2 matches from today to tomorrow. They'll have to beat 2 teams who are above them in the standings, so definitely something that they have to watch out for, something that they should have prepared for very deeply and very much.
Yeah, and they've had time. They've had weeks to prepare for this because they knew where their standing was in the ladder matches, and I'm pretty sure and TNC, from my interview with previous weeks, they have shown that they have said that they do have the potential to do it, and they will carry. They will show a better TNC. And this is their chance to prove it.
This is definitely interesting to see the Sivir composition here along with the Hecarim. So, of course, there's the natural synergy of the Sivir, the Karma, the move speed, plus the passive of the Hecarim, but also just the general utility of having a super fast composition that can slug it out for longer periods of time.
That's right. What you're talking about is the ability of Burst to have increased damage that scales with his move speed. So you have a team that also increases your move speed. That's going to help increase your damage even further and turn you into a Burst monster.
Yeah, as well as your initiation will also be more unexpected, because this is a high horsepower Hecarim running at you at full speed. It's definitely going to be very surprising, and the reaction time from TG and Kaigu will have to be very, very on point for it to prevent any sort of harm from coming onto Celestial, because, as I said, main source of damage is this Twitch. Exocen can bring out his sustained damage as well with the Thread Volley, but it's not the same that if you compare it to
like a Syndra.
the Syndra,
right,
or any other mid laner, and you comparing it to the composition that TNC has too, which is high damage.
That's right. Not just the speed, also the ability of Hayes to get into the back lines along with Shen. If he can do that with protection and have Shen land a taunt before Celestial can respond, that's gonna spell disaster for Mineski. And I'm pretty sure Mineski is aware. That's why they're going all in right
Endless
now.
Ace actually dodges the body slam and the flag and drag. Very clean come from Endless Ace.
Yeah, they know that they have to just not rely on Twitch. Maybe they can pull a pressure onto James. Maybe he can build a bit more offensive just to help with Celestial and also with Exocen. So I think that's what they're going for. And they want to do this early dives. But right now, both junglers are going to find each other. And it's going to make it a bit harder for the rest of the teams to become secure.
Yeah,
Once
and
they
Burst
know
actually
that, yeah.
was at half health at that time. So has to back off from James, who had a very substantial leash there in the bot lane compared to Burst. Burst does have a little bit weaker of a first clear, but after that, his dueling potential in jungle is much more powerful than James's because of the sustained damage he possesses.
Yeah, actually, I think James will have a bit of a lag on the clear if we're talking about clear, because he doesn't really have much innate AoE compared to Hecarim, which does.
Sustained.
You might see James go for like a Hydra first if he wants to go offensive on and faster on clear, but I don't think he does. I think he just wants to just reach 6, build a bit more tankier, and maybe help Celestial as well. Because again, we can't emphasize this enough. A lot of Mineski's pressure, basically 70% of it, is on Celestial if he can make late game plays.
Definitely. It looks like James going for the faster clear here. 2 long swords does signal a build path onto the Tiamat. But of course, that might just be a core item for him just to have a faster
clear.
Just,
right.
you know, because the thing is, Jarvan only has burst in his clear. After that, it's kind of slow sailing. But if he gets the Tiamat,
attacks, right?
even with the normal attacks,
attacks,
the auto attacks, he'll be able to clear very, very quickly.
So we'll have to see which jungler makes it faster. I kind of like that Burst also has that Ghost. He can make a better ganks pre-6. I expect the Hecarim, although he will not have the damage output that you would expect from a jungler, he will definitely be able to make pressure. He will be able to rotate better and make his presence felt.
Definitely. At the start of the game, while Hecarim does have high dueling potential, he still needs items when it comes to 1v2s,
Yes.
2v2s, and all those other multi-champion skirmishes. When it comes to one-on-one, he's very great, but when it comes to these multiple champion skirmishes,
He falls off.
he kind of falls off early. But once he gets his items, able to get the Cinder Hulk and the Triforce, then the damage he will do cannot be ignored.
That's right. So everything we're talking about is, of course, in the later part of the game. Right now, though, in the
to
mid lane,
survive.
Exocen just making sure that he can.
Wow.
Oh,
Actually, Hayes taking a lot of damage come from Exocen. Threaded volley, almost all hitting onto Hayes. A full hit, I think, would have been a kill. Seems like Hayes still going to stay in lane. Pops 1 charge of his refillable potion just to stay. And despite the matchup being very difficult, because earlier we saw Hayes having a lot of difficulty CSing because of the melee range matchup. But now he's actually quite equal, just 1 wave behind.
yeah. Leave it to Exocen though to keep you on your toes with the kill pressure constantly revolving around the mid lane, and especially both junglers again rotating really close to that.
Oh man, seems like Burst cannot catch a break here. James trying to steal his camps, but of course they have to be careful. Hayes is now level 6. So the kill
Ooh.
pressure is more on TNC's side than it is on Mineski's side, because Weaver's Wall does not have really direct kill pressure.
Yeah, they're not gonna be able to execute right away because of the health of Hayes, but they could make something out of this.
Just a little bit of a top lane sponge fight here in the top. So not really a lot of damage exchange, just them pushing out each other. But of course, Kaigo has more natural wave clear. But
Kaigo is kind of pushed in right now, and that leaves him open for Burst. I think he's
Burst is
moving up
coming,
now.
but I think
Oh,
he got spotted
got
out
spotted
there.
by.
Actually,
Right,
I think
yeah.
it was just gut feeling.
That was
come
just
from
great gut
Mineski.
feeling, yeah.
Because
He
if you
knew
look
that
at it,
he kind of felt that Burst was rotating around the middle, and he didn't see him cross the river, so he had that feeling that he might be really close by.
But of course, this might mean, because Burst was spotted out there in the top lane, means James can go for an easy blue steal here. And I don't think TNC has enough information beforehand to actually get the opposing blue on the mirror side.
Yeah, that could have been a steal actually for Orphos.
Just a trade.
Yeah.
But seems like, Kaigo will just guard that blue buff for now.
Yeah, and I think they just want to be able to scale up right now. They don't want to go too much hard on the engage. We've seen Hayes hold on to that ultimate. He's just waiting for that perfect time, as an assassin should, and he's gonna let everything go once that comes.
Because it's very dangerous to all in
Yes.
with that death mark, because the junglers are always around, and it's very hard to actually get an assassination when you have the Dragon Strike knocking you up, and then Exosen being able to just DPS you down. It's very hard, because if you're in melee, that's basically a free, full-threaded volley for him.
Not to mention Exosen's kit at this early on. He has the health, he has the armor from the arm guard, and that's gonna stop a lot of burst from Hayes this early on.
Definitely, but I think this is okay for TNC to do this, because the fact is, Burst also needs to scale up. Same with the rest of TNC squad, but that's scary because if they continue at this slow pace, Celestial will also enjoy not having a lot of pressure on him. If you look at this bot lane, it's just smooth sailing for actually both of these bot lanes. TNC kind of getting pushed in a little, but not suffering too much in terms of the CS loss differential. So far, this is a totally different game from what we had earlier today.
Yeah,
Lots of
totally.
action-packed games before in the previous two matches. Now, it's a lot more controlled.
Yeah, and these are teams that know their win conditions and they're playing for it. It just so happens that both teams' win conditions kind of rely on scaling. That's why the game is slowing down right now. But right now, Weaver's Wall,
Actually,
though,
wait, what? Okay, that's going to be the
Just-
ultimate
yeah.
just to escape from the wall there. But I don't think was it necessary, because I do think he could have just ran up over. So
speaking
now
of
Burst is
necessary-
going to get bursted down indeed by James, but of course there's the Stand United. Gonna help him out. Plus the shields coming from Orthros will help him survive. The shield, rather the ultimate coming from the Shen, will be disabled by Kaigu. So there's that, but it does prevent Burst from being killed there.
Yeah, that could have been really something if either Exosen had his Weaver's Wall to lock down Burst, or if Burst had his charge in order to get out of there. That could have been really something there for TNC.
But yeah, still a lot of restraint from both of these teams. Definitely not a lot of action just yet, but a lot of preparation for what's to come, because these two teams, as you said, quite slow pace. They know their win conditions. Right now, they're kind of slow, but they're playing very mid-range.
That's right.
Once they reach their power spike, that's when you can expect this to just completely explode.
Yeah, both teams playing really vanilla, and they're just staying on their lanes. They're not pushing out too far off into their sides of the river, and they want this to come out. And we will expect a lot of action, most likely in the 15-minute mark, where they will have some items completed, or because right now you see that Twitch, he has not bought anything. Same with Sivir.
Yeah,
So
they've just been staying around.
there's
Here. And
just-
as I said, because there's no pressure in the bot lane for neither of these teams.
yeah,
it
they're
means-
just stacking up the gold in the bank. And
Right now, they're just hoarding money here in the bot lane. And
This is a sort of a mind trick as well, because you don't know what they're building towards. Either one of these AD carries, they don't know what they're gonna build towards, so they could be misled on the items that you build. Right now on top lane though, Endless Ace skirmishing really
and
hard
it's
with
just going to be a
Kaigu.
little bit explosive. Cax is burnt, not just yet. So it's going to be Kaigu trying to go for a kill onto Endless Ace. Also, James will be trying to go for the party, but seems like a little bit too late.
Yeah.
Already Endless Ace is near his turret.
That
But that does
grasp
push
of-
him out.
Yeah.
Does push him out.
That Grasp of the Undying from Kaigu, that's gonna leave that Gragas super healthy along with those wine barrels, I would assume. Meanwhile, Burst wants
man.
to make something happen on
Yeah,
Exosen.
Burst and Haze might look for trouble here, but a little bit too dangerous. Haze around half health, even with the ultimate and the ignite. Not really worth it to just go all out there at once.
Although they're playing quite conservatively, I like that TNC still has the deep wards on the red side of the Neski, and that could prompt for a dragon really soon. And that's an Ocean Drake. That's going to help so much if you really plan to sustain into the laning phase and extend it into even further.
That teensy bit of regeneration could tip the balance in these really even lanes.
That's right.
And on the other hand, Mineski has some pretty good vision on the top side of TNC, so if ever, they know exactly where Burst will be clearing his Raptors. On the other hand, because they have a little bit vision on the red side, TNC can know James when he's doing his Raptors as well.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Mineski super spotted here by TNC, and from there they can formulate plans. They can think maybe we can go Rift Herald, or maybe we can try to stall them down here and maybe just push it out of their hands.
Burst
if
is
they
pretty
go for
low, however.
Yeah,
Even
that's gonna happen most likely after once everyone gets back into the reloaded phase where all the cooldowns are up, and basically this is just gonna be survivability. Ooh, instant ruin king there for Twitch. Insta-buy and instant essence reverse receiver. That's
Okay.
very staple for their AD carries.
Very, very standard, not really off the board just yet. And looking at how everyone's been itemizing it is very standard so far. But the thing is, even with how even these lanes are, the mid lane turret of Haze has been pushed down so far in, and it's almost dead, right? It's almost destroyed. Just one auto attack
Right.
from anyone could actually take it down.
So how do you think the mentality of TNC is so far into the game? Do you think they kind of know that they're playing into their strengths, or do you think they're getting a bit strangled here?
Right now, I do think they are getting a little bit strangled. It is part of their team game plan to just play it out very slow.
So
At the start.
basically-
If they find an opportunity to gank, they will do so. But
Yeah.
here, Mineski's had the initiative on them in terms of the objective, and because TG has been roaming around, same with James being able to be present throughout the map, I'm kind of feeling Mineski's win conditions more than TNC, because even with the slow pace of both of these teams, which is good for both of them,
Yes.
Mineski is really benefiting more. It's just a 1k gold lead for now, though.
Yeah, then you have your power strength on the bot side, very
Oh man, they
visible.
might be going for
Ooh.
something here, but it's just going to block them off. Again, still, Mineski is the one roaming around. That is one of the strengths of their composition. Always looking for something. James going for the
Solo.
Rift Herald solo. He can do it.
Wow, that's great that he has the ability to do that. That just shows you how far along James already is.
Yeah, and
And
top
after
lane.
this, top lane
Yeah,
though,
it's going to be Kaigo and Endless Ace. Just a little bit of a skirmish. I don't think they will exchange blows enough for either of them to die. But this is distracting Endless Ace from checking the Rift Herald. And this actually gives it off to James.
yes, that was Kaigu going in, even though it was not optimal. You saw that he was super low at the end of that. He knew that it was not optimal, but he wanted to distract Endless Ace from going into checking into the Herald, and thus allowing a really clean Herald.
So
by
far,
James.
Mineski still in the lead. Very, very small. But when you consider that both of them are playing very slow and controlled, Mineski already got the lead here. And they have the tempo because they can summon the Rift Herald at any point in time that they wish to be when it's like optimal.
Right.
So having that option is definitely great for them, which means that their options are much faster, much wider than TNC's. While TNC's, they haven't really been rotating around. Orthros has not really been felt around the map in his roaming compared to TG, who has been putting down a lot of vision across the map.
And you know what I like about the composition of Mineski as well is for TNC they need the death ball. They need the 5-man death ball in order to make this work. Meanwhile, on Mineski, they can kind of segment the power spikes where they need to. We have Exosen who can create fields, and as well as Celestial. Even if just the two of them with the support of TG, they can make play on 2 people, and that's gonna spell the difference between these two teams.
Definitely.
I mean, the ability of just self-sufficiency in these clashes.
Having their own zones of control, definitely something that they can do. And going through the death ball that TNC has, that's their power. They just roll into you. On the other hand, Mineski has more of a pyramid structure where Celestial is the top of their pyramid, and the foundation here is his front line, James and Kaigu, and the middle of the pyramid is TG and Exosen, giving him a lot of support and supportive DPS as well.
Yeah.
Here, James gets another objective on top of Burst.
Uncontested
Uncontested
at
as
all.
well. Celestial is going for
Ooh.
high here. I think he will actually get the kill, waiting for the spell shield to expire before he contaminates. First blood going to Celestial. This is going to be hard for TNC because first blood going to one of the strong players of Mineski.
Yeah.
The new import. Definitely putting out work here. Solo kill.
Yeah, basically, there was no chance for High there to survive. They had backup on the side of the top part of that jungle with TG, and that just spelled disaster. Even that spell shield couldn't save him.
Just waiting it out before he contaminates, just in putting a lot more damage as well with auto attacks just to be safe. TNC, it seems like how equal they were before this, just because both
had
teams.
to flash.
Oh man, this is gonna be the Weaver's Wall here. So stunned out with the explosive cast. That's gonna be the threaded volley to actually finish him off. Kill onto Exosen. 2 carries with 1 kill each. Seems like Mineski is starting to explode, as I said. Seems like the circumstances earlier were the reason for TNC being even. It wasn't because they were both playing very slow. It seems like Mineski got
They were just waiting for their chance, right?
While TNC, they kind of floundered around, not really doing much in terms of the rotations, just really laning. Just complete laning. Not a lot of rotational, not a lot of rotational plays. Not even dominating.
No, I mean they're focusing on that opportunity where they can dominate.
Yeah,
that is.
But Mineski has been making other plays where instead of going for a one-time, big-time dominating play, they go for these small objectives, which actually give them the advantage here. Will Hayes go for the 2v3? Actually, no, it's going to be the Rift Herald leaving them behind. Exosen might be in trouble. He does not have any mana, but it seems like they will just be able to survive this onslaught.
Yeah, that was kind of risky. They TNC there saw that Exosen was really super low on mana and that they could capitalize, but it's just that they did not have enough damage to follow up at all. They were just basically tanking everything. Meanwhile, I think they should see each other on the jungle side, and this mid lane is super open. The top lane is now going to be a free fest.
Oh man, look at Celestial. I think that Burst will have to give up something here if Celestial pushes the assault, but TNC with their backup. Still, the pressure here is that Mineski is now more proactive now that they have the power to be so.
Yeah, the difficulty or the advantage of pushing up the top lane is that you'll be able to distract the rest of TNC with plays from the top. If the minions are on top, and your eyes are going to be on top, they're going to leave the Baron the Dragon super open.
That's definitely something that they have to watch out for. Now that Kaigu has transitioned to split pushing at the bot side, and now that Exosen has transitioned to the top side, they can both just easily respond to a fight or skirmish in a mid lane. Weaver's Wall or Teleport both work, which means that the pressure is now more multilateral on Mineski's side, which means that TNC will feel it much more across the board, while meanwhile TNC only has one way of pressuring from across the map, and that's Endless Ace with the Teleport or Stand United. So the tools are much less, and if they are evenly matched in terms of how they play, Mineski has more options. Mineski has more outlets.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about earlier, where the ability of TNC to eliminate opponents is based on how many people are in there. If they have just like 2 or 3, they are not going to have enough, because they will rely on cohesiveness if they want to pull this off.
Seems like Mineski really pulling it off here. So far, TNC just receiving the punishment.
Whoa!
Oh man, that's actually a bad blast cone. Arthros lives with a sliver of health, burning down the health with a red buff, debuff there.
Yeah, that blast cone, that basically spelled the end for Burst. That
unlucky.
That fizzled out.
Does physics work like
that? Yeah, it kind of has. That's actually true. Physics, if you go up and you don't have momentum, that you're just gonna stay there, and that's exactly what's happening.
And the angle as well. Even though the force from the blast cone would have been at maximum,
that's
the
right.
angle was
too high.
Yeah, too high.
Yeah,
and I spelled his doom there.
If you play like shooters where angle is very important, you'll know what we're talking about.
Definitely. And so now, Mineski is still in the lead, and even with a 3-0 score, because of the farm they've accumulated over their lane counterparts, the 3 kills, 7,000, and an Ocean Drake. But of course, there's going to be action here. Zed, Hayes trying to go for something. PG almost dying here. Ames as well, a little bit of trouble. 2 kills for TNC, puts them a little bit back on the kill map, but still 7k behind, and look at what the cost was. Another turret there in the bot lane. I think that was worth it for Mineski.
Yeah, it's control. It's basically giving up a kill for control over the rest of the map. And that's not something you want to do as TNC because you know that objectives are gonna be available soon. You might as well have invested that time into warding, into the Dragon, or maybe the Baron, because that is a big possibility for Mineski.
The pressure really is being felt on the side of TNC here. They're having a lot of trouble resisting Mineski's, all of their traps and deceptions. They go for one thing, Mineski picks something from out of their nose. And they're just, and Mineski right now, the way they're killing TNC, the way they're hiding from their offensive is just hiding above their eyelashes.
That's right.
Because they are so close. They were taking a huge objective, second tier turret, but because they were focused so much on looking at in front of them, at the threat of the push on top, they ignored the bot lane.
Yeah, there's a term for that, tunnel vision.
Yeah, definitely just tunnel vision. So TNC giving up more objectives to Mineski, which is how they've accumulated this gold lead and this pressure lead.
Yeah, over and over again. They have been giving up control of the map in favor of just playing defensive. They are going on the reactive, and that's not something you want to do as TNC. They had that glimpse of hope earlier where they were able to burst out 2 members of Mineski. They just have to keep doing that and just stop relying on Mineski to do the engages.
Definitely, because this is a team that wants to be the one engaging, but because they are really behind in gold and objectives, the pressure on the map is also not on their side. Even their own jungle can be stolen in the blink of an eye, so it's really playing against the circumstances of the game are against their win conditions. So they have to do something to reverse that, something proactive instead of waiting for Mineski to do something. And if you've been paying attention, oh man, it's going to be a polymorph Arthros going to be taken down. Another kill onto Celestial. That might actually signal for a Baron.
Speaking of things that you should not do, that is one of them. Aside from being just reactive,
Yeah, warding
is
alone.
warding way alone, out of safety.
Can Burst may go for a Miracle Steal here. They are equal in terms of the level, so the Smite does equal damage. Weaver's Wall has been put down, so there's no more to block Burst. Will he go for it? Kaigo actually goes over the onslaught of shadows to go in. The Smite still goes onto the blue team. James Mineski gets it. It seems like Endless Ace will try escaping, but Exocet and James and Celestial are hot in pursuit. This is the first action we've seen in this game. Hayes gets taken down.
And quite possibly last, because that was really great. They have the optimum positioning for the creep wave, and they could utilize that to win the game. That was a 50-50 though. That was a bit of a delay on stopping Burst, but definitely worked out quite well in the end for Mineski.
Yeah.
They should be able to push this out really soon.
A 10,000 gold lead, a Fed 80 carry, pushing this down with Baron buff, definitely 25 minutes. And really, that was the first big burst of action we saw in this game. Because if you've been paying attention, the amount of times where one of these casters has been spewing words quickly in a play-by-play manner has been like once or twice.
Right.
That was one of those times. And because Mineski has been playing this so methodically into their win conditions.
And it's also kind of great, Vulcan, that even after that, Atlas, it's great that this could be the last. I mean, this could be one of the last, like second to last. And we'll see on the replay. It's a great 50-50 attempt from Burst, but he was just super underwhelmed, and he was under-leveled as well. From the cleanup, this is going to be basically cleanup here for Mineski. They're able to just keep it safe. Even Hayes could not assassinate someone, even though everyone's cooldowns are already on point.
Because Mineski, because of how they played it more methodically, they reached their important power spike before TNC. And because TNC wants to go for that power spike and then snowball off of that, they weren't able to do it. An item, Hecarim that's behind is hard to survive. It's hard to keep alive.
Yes.
And Hayes being not snowballing means that it's very hard for him to one-shot
Just-
Celestial.
yeah.
And High as well is not dealing enough damage even with his 2 crit items.
Because you have already a great support in the form of TG. You already know that as a Zed, you are very much incapacitated in your ability to assassinate.
Definitely,
And
because the wild growth just shuts you down completely.
yeah, and TNC is not creating that environment where Hayes can not just rely on the assassination, but on the sustained damage. And that's why Mineski pushing their advantage.
Look at that. It might be Kaigo a little bit of trouble. How is Mineski going to trade for this? Seems like TNC learns their lesson, does not tunnel vision onto the top laner. But still, this is... Look at that
Whoa,
Weaver's Wall to
wow.
block out almost everyone at the side of TNC. This is a free turret on their side. The inhibitor will be next. Look at how long that Weaver's Wall is and has blocked them out. It's going to be burst now. The target of TNC takes them out in a clean fashion. Now Kaigo is going onto Hayes. Actually almost take him down. Actually Exocet will finish him off, along with a triple kill on the sidelines with Celestial just cleaning them up. And in a blink of an eye, Mineski wins their first game in their match against TNC, snuffing out their chances of getting into playoffs.
And that is TNC falling off and Mineski securing their berth as the top 3 and 4 seeds of the playoffs. And wow, that was just
That was
surgical precision from Mineski in the end right there.
Definitely, just instead of going at it, hacking and slashing, they just pinpoint where TNC needs to be shut down. They they make an incision there with their scalpel and then carve it out with objectives, with their macro play and specific skirmishes where they know they can trade favorably in their side.
That's right, and that does show in the end game stats where we see that the rest of kills for for Celestial super clean, 702 on that Twitch, and followed suit. But of course, Exocet not so much kills this game, but definitely good on the kill participation.
Definitely, and you saw how valuable the Weaver's Wall is. Just being able to lock out an objective from the side of TNC. They cannot dash over that. Only 2 members can dash over, and they do not want to be isolated from the rest of the team.
Yes.
Because there's only 2 of them that can do it. They might as well not do it, which leaves just Mineski alone to do it
And that
completely
is
without contest.
that's Mineski creating zones, knowing their win conditions in order to secure that victory. So
Man, that was impressive. That was definitely just,
good.
as you said, surgical
super
precision.
surgical precision there
Coming
from
from Mineski there, of course. We'll be seeing if Mineski just continues their calm, collected streak here, or if TNC can just break out of that slump and then get at least 1 win before the group stages end.
and that is gonna come really soon. So stay tuned, Summoners. We still have Game 2. We still have the great fight, and this is gonna be TNC showing off their prowess. Definitely lost their berth for playoffs, but definitely still possible good game for us.
Yeah, possible to give us still more good games, show us how much they've grown since the start of the split. Of course, we've been your shoutcasters for that first game. I'm Atlas. With me was Rockhard. We'll be seeing you after the break. Who actually goes over the onslaught of shadows to go in. The smite still goes onto the blue team. James Mineski gets it. It seems like Endless Ace will try escaping, but Exocet and James and Celestial are hot in pursuit. This is the first action we've seen in this game. Hayes gets taken down. Now it's going to be burst. Now the target of TNC takes them out in a clean fashion. Now Kaigo is going onto Hayes. Actually almost taken down. Actually Exocet will finish him off. Their first with in their match against TNC, snuffing out their chances of getting into playoffs.
And that is TNC falling off and Mineski securing their berth